What's up, everybody? This is Jim Martin from Captivation Media, and this is the Captivation crew, and this is Fist Pump Friday.
Woo!
All right, well, this is episode 3 of Fist Pump Friday, and so for this one, we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently. Not just me this time, but we've got the whole Captivation crew here. Well, actually everybody in the room here. Shout out to Jeff and Wes who are running the camera, and we have the rest of the guys around the table here. These are all people that are kind of behind the scenes at Captivation that you may have seen before, may have seen some of our other videos, other pictures that we have on Facebook. These are some guys that are not only behind the scenes for their talent that they do here, but we're here today to talk about something pretty significant that's going on right now, which is the big craze around the Pokemon Go. And these individuals all play that. So what we wanted to do today was talk to you about that, but from a business owner perspective. Why do you care as a business owner that people are playing this game? So what I'm going to be doing is just kind of moderating this and asking some questions to the group here, and hopefully we can give you some additional value as we're going through. So again, shout out to Wes coming into frame here. We're going to be just kind of going around the table and covering as we go. So let's get into it. The things that you guys have seen as a result of working with restaurants or seeing things on social media, what types of things have you been seeing recently that that seem to work pretty well? You guys have any specific ones that we can call reference to?
Well, I definitely have seen a lot of people migrating towards Pokemon stops that are either by parks or by restaurants, and I've noticed, like, we've gone to Tijuana Flats or like Chipotle, and anytime we sat down, people are there playing Pokemon Go in range of their little Pokestop. And what that does is allows them to socialize and also brings some income to your own business while they're all socializing in one location.
Right, yeah, and so I can see definitely how something like that would work for a restaurant. Now, it's important to remember too that if we're talking a small restaurant, that if you're doing certain things on the platform, that you're actually creating a situation where people are going to be hanging out too long, right? Yeah. And so the benefit to a restaurant is that they don't do those things that are going to cause people to camp out and not be able to turn those tables. But what other things can people be doing as a restaurant to help either entice their patrons to come in? What things can they be doing themselves? What things are they dependent on the patron to do? Do you guys have any feedback on that?
Yeah, well, a lot of restaurants that we've seen lately have been offering special discounts or promotions to tie along with the game, whether it be whatever level that you're at. You get a special discount on your meal, like you're at level 5, you get 10% off your check. You're at level 20, you get a free entree type of deal, or even something so simple as just showing a Pokemon that you've caught. You know, they have a Pokemon of the day that's specific for that day. You come in, you show that, oh, I've caught this Pokemon, you get to redeem it for a special reward that the restaurant or business might be offering at the time.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people doing that lately.
What are some of the components of, like, how does the game work, and what are the components of the game? I think that would make a lot of sense.
Well, the game itself is rather simple. It's based off an old Game Boy game where you caught these little creatures called Pokemon, and you would battle against other trainers. Now in this game, it's real simplified. It's you just capture the Pokemon and you have it, and you can evolve it and stuff. But what's really cool is they have these things, like I was mentioning it early on, is Pokestops, where are these specific locations that you can actually sign up on their website to get. And what it allows you to do is get free items, and also you can put up lures where you can lure more Pokemon in this central location. And what's cool about that is people can actually see, oh, there's a lure going on their map, because it's like a GPS, so they can all herd to that one location. So, I mean, like, maybe how I can see it is maybe a owner, or maybe the owner's kid would put a lure up and lure people here at like maybe noon for the noon rush to boost business in that area.
And the lures only last for 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So by putting one on, you're getting people to come in there because it's attracting Pokemon, and it's a feature that everyone can benefit from. When a lure's up, regardless of who put it up, anybody who's playing the game can take advantage of it.
Okay.
But they do only last for 30 minutes at a time. So once it's done unless somebody else puts one on.
A business that advertised that they were going to be setting off lures for X amount of time. They had a little quarter-page ad in the ticket. And, So they were attracting people, I guess, with the idea of setting them off for 4 hours.
Yeah, right. And what's cool about that is they have in the game system itself a marketplace where you can buy certain items like lures. So you could put some like, I don't know, like a $10 aside. I forget how much the lures are, but I think they're really cheap. And you can buy a couple lures for a week and put one up at like your most busiest times and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So now, are the lures something that, like, if a business owner wants to take advantage of this from their standpoint, do they have to really have a phone that has this set up on it, or are they able to do this, a lot of these things by just kind of putting some rules together around their patrons? Is that kind of a better way to do it?
From my own perspective, I do see it being a little like someone has to set up the phone to see if there's a lure in place. Again, we would have to talk with the company itself to see if we can set up a lure if one's not, a Pokestop in place to your location if there's not one in place. But for just couple of hours of research myself, I saw that there was simply a form, and you could probably call the company to expedite that very thing. And once that's in place, the company owner doesn't even need one. It's really just that initial to see if your location actually has a Pokestop set up.
Okay. So does it cost the business anything in order to set up a Pokestop right now?
Nope.
Not yet.
Nope. We're building around the community, and because how many people are just falling in love with this game, it's just continuing to grow. And from the last Twitter feed I saw, they're just fixing bugs, working on improvements, and I don't see this thing stopping anytime soon. So.
Well, and it's interesting that you brought up Twitter, because some of the latest statistics that I saw said that the average daily user base on Pokemon Go is actually more than it is on Twitter as a platform. So that's pretty cool. So again, as we've talked about in the past, why this is pertinent to a business owner is because this is where people's attention lies. So it's important for you to be thinking about this as a platform, because anywhere where people are spending time and attention is an opportunity for you to garner that. So Liam, with some of the things that you've seen as it relates to the platform itself, what components of what's interesting about the GPS features of this that a business could take advantage of in terms of how they would use those types of things in the platform?
So the game actually is like integrated, I think it's either with like Google Maps or another map online to where it actually uses the player's actual location in the environment. So say you're at like, I don't know, Walmart or something like that, you can actually see what streets you're on and what environment you're on.
And as you were mentioning, Pam, where we've seen and we've done some things for some of our clients where we're actually doing posts on Facebook or things like that, where on a slower day maybe of their business operations, that we're putting some Pokemon out there that if they come in and they show you something, one of the ones that they've caught, theoretically on a slower day, an easier one to catch, and on the more busy days, then you're showing the harder ones to catch in order so that you're kind of load handling that way. How many of these different characters are there, and is this a fad that's going to burn out soon, or what's the thought on that?
There's 150 Pokemon currently in the game now. The whole universe itself has over 600 Pokemon, so it could keep, as they're putting out updates, it could keep adding new batches of Pokemon to the game, keeping it fresh and new constantly. So there's always going to be something going on for people to be catching them. Gotta catch them all.
The game updates, every
2 weeks?
2 weeks it updates, so there's always something new or something that's always being fixed. And
what's the end goal to the user, in the game? Like, what's the main objective in the game besides just catching all of these?
That's
Right.
the objective.
Yeah.
Catch 'em all.
yeah, it's to catch them all, and then they also have like integrated like battles between other players. So like, not only do they have Pokestops, but another advantage is gyms, where players can go out and actually play with one another. Like me and Pam can literally go out and fight Pokemon against each other to actually take over gyms. So gyms are almost like king of the hill. If someone wins a gym, they're crowned literally the king. So if that's at your business, I mean, you can have a lot of I guess, younger people coming out there to actually battle out and take over.
And are the gyms something that are they always in the same place, or do they move around?
They're in the same place, and they also level up if the team holds it for a certain amount of time. I don't know the exact.
There's 3 teams in the game. There's a red team, a blue team, and a yellow team. And basically, if your team holds the gym, like I'm on a yellow team, if my yellow team has the gym, I can only add to it. I can't take it over. But if Liam, who's on the red team, comes, he can conquer the gym and take it for himself because he's on a different team than I am.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, you know, we talked a lot about businesses that have a brick and mortar store somewhere where people are going to be coming into the organization to spend time. What about clients that, or individuals that are part of maybe a nonprofit or other businesses that might not be specifically brick and mortar? Are there ways for you to take advantage of things that way? I'll let you chew on that for a minute. One of the ways that I have heard that nonprofits have used this is say with some of the guide dog organizations around the U.S., that they're actually, with all these people going outside and walking around, they've actually said, hey, if you want to take one of our dogs for a walk while you're going on, you know, searching for Pokemon, then that's a way for you to help our organization, and you're outside anyway. So that's one way in which people are kind of thinking outside the box on. But have you have any ideas in terms of how maybe a nonprofit or a business that isn't specifically centered around people coming to them, how they could use something like this as a platform?
Even if you're able to get your hands on like a gym, or maybe even a Pokestop, but a gym, you could also have like competitions of who can conquer the gym, or like prizes and stuff like that to get people to actually go to your event and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or even Pokestops, like set off,
Yeah,
like what they said, lures and stuff like that to lure people into your actual area.
And have us maybe have a specific event saying this is while we're having this, I don't know, a yard sale, we're also having a Pokemon tournament.
Yeah.
Bring your best.
And that's something I haven't seen before, which would be cool if you can sign up for a gym. You would be able to utilize that at like your business.
How does somebody sign up to have a gym?
It would be the same thing as a Pokestop, but I don't know if gyms are sign-upable. Again, it's more of like, as of now, it's more of a, you need to contact the company to specific, and we can get those details.
And we can put them in the comments to this particular video that we're putting out. As we get new stuff, we can just update it there.
Knowing we were going to have a sit down, I actually did some looking into it a little further, and there's actually some really cool updates coming up. One's a chat feature where you can add friends that you have, and it's integrated into the game. Another thing is Poke Battles, and instead of just doing them at gyms, as Liam pointed out, we can now actually, they're thinking about bringing out normal people having battles. So you see someone walking around, hey, I want to fight you, and then you can actually do that. So, and other things like that as it comes along.
Yeah, as this thing grows, I think there's going to be a lot more. It's fresh. It's only a couple weeks out into like being out, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for advertisements and actually getting your hands on like Pokestops and stuff like that in gyms. So I mean, just taking your time and researching and seeing what the updates actually are.
And this seems to be one of the cheapest things really to dive into, because it really doesn't cost you really anything. It honestly doesn't. It's a free program. If you want to put money into it, you can. If you want to put in $10 to get a couple lures to boost up your company, you can do that, but you don't have to. And even the Pokestops right now are free to sign up for, so it's only it's anyone's bonus boon to do it.
I mean, the Pokemon brand itself has been around for over 20 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon.
It's never going anywhere.
Adding more to it.
Is this something, Amanda, that you're seeing at school up at Loyola? That are people using it up there as well? Is it something where a lot of your friends up there are using it? If so, like what kind of age range are you seeing, where you are up at school?
I think a lot of people are playing it, just all ages, I'd say. So I think it's a really good marketing opportunity for just businesses, anyone basically, because I think everyone's playing it. A lot of people can connect with it. People with kids can connect with it. just everyone is just playing. So
Yeah.
I think all ages. Speaking of Facebook, you can use that as a marketing opportunity as a business. You can say, you can encourage people that come to your business and say, hey, if you're willing to post something on social media, why don't you tag us? You can tag someone on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram if you're going to post a photo. I think that's a great way to kind of show that people are coming to your location and they're playing and that it's encouraged. And if you have signs in your business, I think that's a good opportunity too to see. I know some businesses are kind of warding it away, but I think it's a good opportunity to have. I don't think it's something to be like afraid of or kind of against. I think it's better to embrace it. So I think that's a good thing.
To add to our previous thing we were talking about there's a system in place for getting people together. There's nothing, as everyone mentioned before, in the game itself, but on Reddit, there's actually a subreddit, not just of Pokemon Go, but it's called Cypher Road. I'll get the exact link and we'll put it in the comments. That actually allows for people to be like, hey, there's a gym here in this location. Anyone want to meet up? And people have, apparently that's really popular right now. So people are really, it's more of the users actually taking it, basically grouping together, so that you don't really need to worry about if it's like, are these people meeting together? It looks like that's kind of all being handled by them themselves, so that's kind of a boon right there, I think. So you can even look at that subreddit if yourself. You're like, oh, look at them, our city's on here. Let's see if we can make a comment saying, hey, our restaurant's doing a special for Pokemon Go. Bring in your dragon or whatever, and then you're good to go, and we get you like a 5% discount or whatever.
Right, okay. So now that we've talked about all the advantages, is there anything that a business owner needs to be aware of in terms of like just things to stay away from or things to be weary of when they're doing this? Because we've heard stories of people going into other people's backyards to catch Pokemon and things like that. I mean, that becomes some of the negative publicity that's coming out of the platform, but what are there any things that a business owner needs to be concerned about in that regard, or if they're going to go and try and leverage this platform?
Well, I was actually at a Michael's last weekend or whatever, and they have a Pokestop behind the building, like in their storage room.
Oh.
And I was talking to the girl there, and she said, yeah, it's kind of nice, it's convenient for us, but at the same time we'll go to take the garbage out and there's all these people back there.
Yeah.
She's like, so I mean, if you were going to install a Pokestop, you just have to be very specific with the latitude and longitude of exactly where you want it to be, so you don't wind up with it in your dumpster.
Right, yeah, or somewhere, somewhere where you don't want people hanging out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, okay, now, is there anything in place right now to where if you find that you have those types of things around and you don't want them around, is there anything that you can do as a business owner or as just an individual to help not have those things at your house or at your business if you don't want them?
Yeah, they have petitions online, forms that you can fill out to have a Pokestop or a gym removed from your location because it's unsafe, it's private property, it's XYZ.
Okay.
So if business owners want to post a photo of like if they found a Pokemon in their store, they can make sure that the camera's on and they could kind of display if the Pokemon is near some of their merchandise. That could be a pro to them, so they could show off kind of both things at once.
Okay. It's a lot of good information, and I think if for the people that are watching, if they want to utilize this as a platform, hearing all of the stuff and all the different options that they have available, I can see most business owners still being like, I have no idea what any of these folks just said. So it's going to take them having to really dive in a little bit deeper. So where would you suggest a good starting point being if they wanted to get started in using this?
I think if a business wants to utilize the Pokemon Go, the first thing they need to do is ask themselves, what do I want to do with this? What do I want to achieve out of utilizing this form of advertisement? Do I want to sell something? Do I want to bring people to my store? What is my end game here? And then get with us, and we can easily structure some sort of plan of attack utilizing the game to make that happen.
Right. Okay.
They could also just, download the game and give it a try, and some of that stuff becomes apparent as you play it. You start to see where those marketing values and things will kind of stand out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, worst case scenario, you just spend some time having some fun, so.
Right. Okay.
And the internet is an invaluable resource. Like Reddit, for example, they always have a mega thread where it says, how do I play this game? What do I need to know? And it goes step by step, and it's super easy. Like, I just looked at it for a couple, 5 minutes, and I knew how to play.
Okay. Cool. So, and that's reddit.com, right?
Reddit.com and
Okay.
like Pokemon Go subreddit. Yeah, we
Okay.
can definitely get a link for you.
That was great. Thank you very much for everybody's time. And that does it for another episode of Fist Pump Friday. Thank you again for tuning in. We will see you again next month, and have a great rest of this month. This is the rest of the crew, and this is Fist Pump Friday. All right, have a great rest of your month, and we will see you again next month. Woo!